Donald Trump yesterday put out this post on Truth Social. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now. And that was sort of midnight our time. So by that reckoning, the ceasefire should have come into operation at about 6 a.m. South African time, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel, God bless Iran, God bless the Middle East, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. Iran has said, yes, there's a ceasefire, but Trump begged for it, which is a very different characterization, inevitably. Israel has not yet said anything official of which I am aware, and I do keep checking on various international news sites as regularly as I can. But even though missiles are still being fired at the moment, which it appears they are, then that might be the winding down and completing in-progress final missions. And the fact that Israel hasn't said anything yet, I'm not sure how much to read into that. And it is not unknown for two sides involved in conflict to continue military operations into the early hours of what is supposed to be a ceasefire. So for the moment, there is Iran saying there is a ceasefire, there is America saying there is a ceasefire, there is Israel keeping stum, but the oil price dropped several dollars on the announcement of the ceasefire. And as one of the sort of oil and the passage of oil and the sale of oil and the price of oil has been one of the geopolitical worries around this, particularly with the threat by Iran to close the Strait of Hormuz, through which much of the oil that is going to the rest of the world passes. Tracey-Lee Solomon is an economist at the Bureau for Economic Research and joins us now. Tracey-Lee, good morning.
Good morning, John.
There were thoughts that if this conflict continued and the Strait of Hormuz was closed or traffic through it was very badly affected, then the price of oil could go up to around $120 a barrel. That now seems unlikely, so time to heave a sigh of relief?
Oh, definitely. We had a look at what would happen if the price did spike to $100 per barrel, as some people have mentioned. JP Morgan specifically mentioned that figure. And yeah, if I look at the last time that happened, it was about August 2022. And petrol prices at that point were roughly 2 rand per litre higher than they are now. And at that point, the rand was also quite a bit stronger. So that would have been roughly the ballpark we would have been sitting in. But as you mentioned, now oil prices have come down significantly since the ceasefire has been announced. Well, since yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I'm looking at an oil price table at the moment, and there's quite a significant difference between the prices of various kinds of oil. WTI crude, whatever that is 66.63, but OPEC basket is $77.25. So, but roughly in line with where oil prices were before Israel started attacking Iran.
That's correct. And I think to understand that, we should look at the backdrop. So prior to Israel's attack on Iran, we were basically sitting in a situation where OPEC Plus was increasing production, and we were sitting in a situation where global oil demand was quite weak. And those fundamentals haven't really changed. We got the attack, and there were fears that, as you mentioned, the Strait of Hormuz would be disrupted, which should impact crude oil prices, and specifically exports from the Middle East, which is why you see that OPEC basket price being a little bit higher than something like WTI. Just so that you know, a WTI is the oil price from America. So as you can imagine, they're not as disrupted from the Strait of Hormuz conflict as the OPEC basket would be.
Where do we get most of our oil from, Tracy?
So most of our oil comes from partners in Africa, Angola, mostly from Africa, and some from the Middle East as well. So we get a lot of...
Sorry, I'm trying to sort of understand this a little better. And is that a contract at which a price is set, or how responsive is what we actually pay to what are the spot prices on international oil markets?
It is quite responsive. What's important to remember is that our petrol price or our fuel prices are determined by not necessarily the crude oil price, but by the price for products. And this changes just as the crude oil price changes. The Central Energy Fund usually releases an update of what the different changes were throughout each day. And that at the end of each month provides us with an indication of what the decrease or increase in fuel prices will be. It's a mixture of the rand exchange rate and petroleum product prices, which, as I mentioned, the prices change daily, and we are quite responsive to that.
But for the moment, and the announcement of a ceasefire is not yet set in concrete, but for the moment one can expect a reasonable degree of stability in international oil markets, or is that too optimistic an assessment?
I wouldn't say that it's too optimistic, but I think it would be a little bit dangerous to say. We've seen that the news cycle is just incredibly volatile and fast-moving at the moment. At one point yesterday, the benchmark Brent crude oil price was above $80 per barrel, and that was from below 70 just a week and a half ago. So I'd be very cautious to say that we're, in the clear or just out of the woods just yet. However, at the moment, it does seem as though, even though there could potentially be another escalation, Iran doesn't seem willing to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz.
Which is good news indeed. Tracey-Lee Solomon, thank you very much indeed, an economist at the Bureau for Economic Research.